I'm Brett Reeves.
And I'm Juan Reeves.
We're second-generation restaurant owners carrying on our father's legacy.
We've been on a number of TV shows from Good Morning America to Guy's Grocery Games.
And now we're starting our own podcast.
Some people say that he's a handsome guy, even so much so he's pretty.
This dude is definitely funny.
Together, that makes us pretty funny.
What's up, y'all? It is the Pretty Funny Podcast. And, Juan, we've got a wonderful guest today.
Man, we are upping our game on a regular basis.
Week after week, episode after episode, we keep upping our game.
So, we got, it's somewhat of a legend. He's a local graduate.
You don't have to even say somewhat.
I guess I really should just say he's a legend.
This brother's a legend.
Really? You should.
Graduate of Skyline High School.
Yes, sir.
Attended the Ohio State University.
Okay.
No, I graduated from there too.
Oh, yeah.
He likes to make sure because I'll tell you, I'll come back to that.
Okay.
When I worked at NBC, there's a lot of people.
Oh, it's a lot of people that
there's a lot of
attended this
people.
Some
school.
people just went. Yeah, that's it.
Bob Costas attended Syracuse.
Right.
He did not graduate.
He did not.
I knew that because I worked behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I spent
Flex.
19 years at the Dallas Morning News. First person in 122 history to go from intern to columnist.
Baller.
That's a baller.
Baller.
Covered sports for ESPN Radio, covered sports for ESPN, co-hosted a radio show that was just blowing up called The Jam Session.
Man.
He's covered 25 Super Bowls.
Yes, sir.
2 World Series, 2 finals.
Come on.
NBA finals.
Come on.
NHL finals.
What?
Man has done everything, even the Olympics. And, he's been there for all the big stuff.
Yeah.
Emmett Smith hitting his all-time record.
Oh, yeah.
He's truly, truly, truly a legend. And right now he's spending his time. Hey, we got to hear more about what this is. This JJT Media Group. But he's you see his stuff in The Athletic.
Yeah.
You see him in ESPN. You still see him on the Dallas Morning News where he spent so many years. He's everywhere. And not only that, he's not just gathering all these accolades.
Yeah.
He's sharing them because he's also a professor at SMU.
You see that?
It's just a privilege and honor, and I know we're gonna get schooled because he's a professional interviewer.
Right.
Yeah, and I got your list right there.
He's a professional interviewer, so he's gonna give us some tips and notes after the show.
Right.
But for now, let's give a warm jam session welcome to the one, the only, Jean Jacques Taylor.
Yes.
Where the jam session bowl at, dog? Y'all must have left the food in it.
So
Restaurateurs showed up with no food.
here's the deal.
This is the deal.
Here's the deal.
Yes.
We have something for you.
That's my dog.
Wait.
But I know,
Oh,
as a fan,
Right.
I know that you do have a regimen. And I didn't know where you were today, if this was a jam session day or this is I'm going light.
every day a jam session day, dog.
Oh, yes.
See, check this out. Me and my boys, we get it done at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So if you eat bad during the day,
Yeah.
you already worked out.
Okay.
And if you eat bad during the day and you really ate bad, you go work out again.
There you go. Okay.
So I'm good.
So
I'm a fat boy for life.
In the future,
I like
I know.
it.
Mentally,
Yes. But physically.
I'm sexy.
So I just want people that aren't in the room.
Talk to him, Juan.
I need you to understand. We got a lot of sexy going on.
It's a
in
sexy
this room
battle
today.
happening today.
You got you know Jacques. I mean, if you know Jacques, you know he's one of the sexiest men in the world.
Right.
We also got Sexy Ramon over here.
Sexy Ramon on the camera.
Sexy Ramon on the camera. We got 2 guys that have lost guys, and now they are just doing things.
And killing the game, brother.
And so we had to get that out here.
Yeah, we got to get that out of the way.
Thank you so much for being here. But let's get rolling. I got a question. I've got the question that I think a lot of people want to know.
Okay.
I'm
ready. I'm excited about today.
What people don't know is we grew up right by each other and didn't know it.
Right.
Because our dad's house is on
Rugged.
Rugged.
Yeah, Rugged and Tree Line.
Rugged. We're on Tree Line, but
Yeah.
he was Rugged. And you were on Windchime, right?
Yeah.
What does it say on my Twitter profile? Rugged and Ledbetter, baby.
There it is.
That's me.
There it is.
Oakcliff.
So
whole lot
that's
of
the
Oakcliff
question I have. A brother that's growing up on Rugged and Ledbetter.
And the producer's on Oakcliff.
And wait a minute.
Dr. Dave.
Westmoreland and Keys.
Talk to him, Dave.
I'm just saying.
So then you brothers in the room will understand where this question comes
Come on.
from.
Are we ready?
All right.
How many brothers from Rugged and Ledbetter do you know with French names?
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You do?
Where does a brother from Oakcliff come up with Jean Jacques?
Oh, it's really pretty simple, dog.
Yeah.
My mother was a double major in college. She went to Fisk in Nashville.
Yep.
Okay.
French and Spanish.
Ah,
So I could have
you
been Juan Carlos.
Oh.
But it just ended up being Jean Jacques.
Yeah.
And, the interesting thing is I couldn't stand my name as a youngster. Why?
Because you were getting clowned on the regular.
Well, no, I would fight you.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting clowned on the regular.
Yeah.
But I hate the first day of school.
Oh, yeah.
Jean Taylor.
Jean Taylor.
Because, number one, they didn't put the hyphen in there.
Right.
There you go.
You have to be adamant. Like on my driver's license, it took me till I was like in my 40s to be like, nah, dog, this is not a middle name. I'm that.
Right.
For them to do it right.
Right.
So first day of school, Jean Taylor. No, it's not Jean. It's
Jean.
It's Jean, or you can call me Jean Jacques, but I'm not answering to Jean.
Right.
I'm just not.
No.
And throughout all of my schooling, I only had one teacher act a fool about that.
Really?
Are you serious?
Yeah, Linda Prater.
Okay.
9th grade.
Oh,
Skyline
wow.
High School. I call you by your name. Well, it's Jean. No, it's Jean.
How can someone tell you what your name is?
White woman with privilege.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
No, it's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen.
But growing up, I was
but
always
that's-
Jacques.
But that's an ignorant teacher.
Well, yeah.
Because
yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all off the air what happened to her.
Okay.
Because really, because I was telling this story to somebody later, like years later, like, oh, you know what happened to her? I said, no, what? And this person ended up being a teacher, so she actually knew her. What happened to her.
Oh,
wow.
It was, I'll tell y'all.
Unfortunate.
Yes. So I was always Jacques. My mother always called me Jacques. I was never Jean Jacques. I was always Jacques.
Right.
And then I went to college, and I started writing for the Columbus Dispatch. And I had brought I was writing for the Lantern, which is a school paper at Ohio State.
Right.
And I brought one of my stories home because my dad was teaching at Ohio State.
Right.
That was good and that was bad. Now it was good. I'm getting off track. It was good because it's my dad, and so I didn't grow up with him because my parents got divorced when I was 6.
Right.
My dad stayed and moved to Ohio. My mom moved to Texas, but we used to go up there every summer. So I had a good time with my dad.
Yeah.
So living with him was cool. But the problem was I should have been on campus the first year,
Oh, yeah.
especially for me coming out of state.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't. So that's why I was good and bad. But anyway,
Gotcha.
I brought a story home. I said, hey, check this out. He said, it's a great story. He said, but you should use your full name on your byline. I said, why? He said, oh, it's very distinctive. It's very unique. It'll catch people's eyes and attention.
Yeah.
And it'll just trust me. It'll work out well if you do that.
Yeah.
So I was really that cat who, if my parents told me to do something, even if I didn't really agree with it, I'd just be like, I'll roll it out and see how it work out.
Yeah.
So it worked out good. And
It's
that's
genius.
that's how the byline became Jean Jacques Taylor.
That's how, I mean, I remember, so I grew
Your
up.
pops had to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember coming back to Dallas when I was working for Hoop It Up and reading the paper. And I remember, I don't know if it was right after I came to Hoop It Up or when I was in Europe, whatever. I remember seeing this picture of this black guy named Jean Jacques. And I was like, what's going on here?
Right,
Who's
right.
this guy?
Right.
But then I was like, okay, I'm reading.
You read the article, though.
I'm reading the
You
article.
read the
and I'm
article,
like-
you be like, God,
and then I'm thinking,
this Joker's a beast.
I'm like, where did this guy come from? Not having any clue that you
Right.
grew up literally
Right.
around the corner from Bishop Dunn, where we went to high school and all
Yeah.
that. So that was very interesting to figure that out.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I remember reading the paper, early, young, because you always, high school, you show out on a Friday night, you got to go get the papers. You got to go see how you did.
You got to see how you did. Absolutely.
And then you see Jacques, you'd be like, say, man, like, and it was, I don't know. How did it feel for you? Because being, a young black man, I see a brother that's in the paper, like with sometimes like the headlines, the big articles. You'd be like,
Right.
dang, did you realize how many people you were inspiring? Like then?
I would say no, but this is I mean for real. But I was just doing what I do.
Right.
Is my purpose. What I put here to do is what I wanted to do ever since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But what I did do is I used to do this on purpose when it fit. Is if I was writing something and it fit and it made sense, I would say I would include that I went to Holmes Academy.
Oh, okay.
Or I would include
Okay.
that I went to Maynard Jackson.
Yeah.
Elementary school.
Right.
Right.
Or that I went to Skyline.
Right.
Yeah.
So that if somebody like me was reading it, they'd be like, oh, okay, so you can do that. Because when I was growing up, there were no black columnists.
No.
There wasn't them. I mean, there ain't that many black columnists now.
No.
And, there certainly weren't that many black reporters, but, I was just like, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to be single-minded in my focus and make it happen.
Man, it was great. You read those articles, it'd be like, it speak right to you, and it'd be like great insight. You know,
it was. I mean, I'll be honest. When it was cool to see that he was black.
100%.
For me, it was
100%.
like Prentice. I worked at NBC when I was in college. Prentice Rogers in Atlanta.
Right.
Stephen A. was in Philadelphia.
Right.
That's all I remember.
That's what I said. It wasn't that many, dog.
Kevin Blackstone.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I didn't see anybody else for a while, and then all of a sudden, here's this French guy, this French brother,
right,
is what I'm thinking, and I'm like, all right, cool, easy. And then it was that was to me that was inspiring because at the time I was trying to figure out between business or TV or what I was trying to do, and it was cool to see guys doing stuff that looked like me.
So like you go from, columnist. I mean, then you start having all of these opportunities. I mean, ESPN. Like you get all of these major opportunities. Like,
how do you leave the great job as a columnist at morning news?
Right.
Great job from our perspective.
Right.
And go. I mean, ESPN's cool, and I get it in a way, but it's like, how do you make that transition? Because wasn't that part of your? Weren't you working up your ladder there?
Well, it was. It's probably the toughest professional decision I had to make. Because here's why. And you just have to keep it real. If you go from intern to columnist at a place like the Dallas Morning News, okay, that's your personal deal is great. You straight. But what else? You become the example they can use for everybody else about, hey, look, you too can do this or you too can do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so basically, you got a job for life, basically, unless you mess it up.
Sure.
Because they're not going to lay you off. Because you've reached the heights, and I was good.
Right.
So,
but
when you come in with ESPN, you like, I can stay here and I can be straight basically forever.
Right.
Because I was one of the few, because the thing about newspaper business is it's not a contract business. It's, if you offer me a job, I go leave tomorrow. My 2 weeks notice, whatever.
Right.
So even back then, I was one of the few columnists, few people at the paper who had a contract.
Oh, wow.
Or actually, no, here's what happened. They offered me a contract once I got this offer from ESPN.
Oh, wow.
And the thing about ESPN was, my dad had told me, and you guys understand this. My dad's a wealth of wisdom.
Oh, yeah. Hey, 100%.
For real.
Oh, yeah, us too.
Matter of fact, I'm finna show y'all something. I got this in my phone.
Yeah.
Because I did a project for him and asked my brother and my sister about it. What'd they say? Henry Taylor's Rules for Life.
Oh, wow.
This is in my phone. There's 10 of them.
Oh, wow.
These are the top 10. I could have had like 10 more, but these are the top 10. And one of the things he told me was, you only get to hammer so many times in your career. When you get it, swing it like Thor.
God, dog. Dr. Dave.
That's money.
No, that's what he told me.
That need to be on a mug or a T-shirt.
Man, we need to. We'll talk about
that's what he told me. So I'm talking back and forth with ESPN, and again, you got to have friends and people who understand. And so I called one of my people at the morning news. I said, hey, what does this person make? I'll tell y'all off there.
Yeah.
And they told me. I said, okay, that's cool. And so I told ESPN, I don't need to be in this dude's neighborhood. Yeah. I mean, I don't have to be next door to him, but I need to be in his cul-de-sac.
Say, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
And they put me in the cul-de-sac.
All right.
And so at that point, it's just a matter of you going to stay.
Right.
Because More News offered me some more money, and that was fine.
Right.
But at a certain point, it's if you're going to grow and see how big you can be.
Yeah.
You got to take that step.
Yeah.
And so I bounced.
Wow.
And like what I like to say and what I tell everybody is the first two, because it was ESPN Dallas, that was even better.
Right.
First 2 years at ESPN was phenomenal. It was everything they said it was going to be. The middle 2 years at ESPN was cool. The last 2 years at ESPN was a poop show.
Oh, wow.
Man.
And it didn't matter. Check this out. That was making more money than I ever made before.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because money, as they tell you, will not buy you happiness. Money buy you some other stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it ain't gonna buy you happiness. And so I was part of those people who got laid off. I mean, they laid off like a zillion people in 2016.
Yeah.
And
but you were ready for it. I remember you talking on your radio show about, hey, this you had a game plan.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm a Capricorn, so I'm always gonna have a plan.
There you go.
I mean,
there you go.
People in high school will tell you about my plans.
Uh-oh.
My dad will tell you about my plan. I always got a plan.
Yeah.
Always. I changed that thing, but I always got a plan.
Yeah.
So I was straight because I had the radio show on the ticket.
Right.
I mean, on ESPN radio, so I was good.
Yeah.
And then I started working at NBC.
We're doing the thing with Newey on Sundays.
And so I was straight. So.
Yeah. Which was really good. I just want to say,
man,
that was really good.
Man, I love Newey when he was on the radio.
Right.
I think he's great. Like, he just has a wealth of knowledge. You guys together, that was very cool.
You know
that
why?
was very cool.
You know why?
Why's that?
Newey at Capricorn too.
There it is. Capricorn.
You know I'm a Capricorn.
I know that.
Yeah.
Newey end of December. I'm beginning of January. So we vibe.
Yeah.
We got the same mindset.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, y'all, I mean, well, we'll ass off there. I just always wonder. I just wonder if y'all never did any projects. I mean, just
check this out. Check this out, dog. Check this out.
Yeah.
And y'all, see, I tell you this out because y'all know about this.
Yeah.
You can talk about doing projects with people for years.
Right.
But it ain't till the timing is right for both of y'all
and
the fit is right
Right.
for y'all to make it happen.
Right.
You're 100%.
Right. And we still, because me and Clarence Hill have been talking about projects for years.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And we ain't been able to find the right project at the right time with the right fit that works.
But when it comes,
it's going to hit.
you know it's going to work because you guys already work.
So me and Newey was talking about some stuff over the last few years. Like, if we could ever get it situated like this and like this and like that, we could probably do something that's nice.
Oh, yeah. No, we saw that. We saw the show when y'all started doing the show. I was like, oh, man, these jokers here going to mess around and do something.
I ain't talked to Newey about this in depth, but I'm pretty sure that now that I'm back for my adventures in Jackson, I'll be on NBC Sunday nights next.
All right. Now that's what's up.
Fall. All right,
that's what's up.
We'll like that.
So
Go ahead.
So JJT.
Yes.
Huh?
Oh yeah, dog.
Huh? Okay, so he talked about always having a plan.
Always having a plan.
So the stint at ESPN kind of was over.
Right.
But you already were putting some stuff in play.
Well, what happened was the pandemic hit. And so I was doing radio with Matt McLaren.
Right.
We do a podcast now.
Yeah.
Jam Session Podcast.
Jam Session.
Y'all need to take a listen to that.
You got to listen to it.
Download that joker. Listen to him.
Every 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Dude. And the radio show was going great.
Yeah. It was.
We had moved into top 10. I think it was top 11 for the first time.
Yeah.
It was really going well.
Y'all took that thing from nothing. I mean,
let's tell the truth. We was 31. We was 31 out of 31.
I'm just trying to say.
Are you serious? It was 30.
We was 31 out of 31.
When y'all took over?
Yes. At the bottom.
I mean, I knew it was struggling, man.
But I'm gonna tell you what happened. We hung around in the 20s for a long time. I mean, we did the show together for 2 years at ESPN. Mm-hmm. We hung around the 20s for about a year.
Okay.
And some change. And you know what happened? The pandemic happened. And it started in March.
That's right.
And that was built for us because we could talk about more than sports.
Right.
Where other sports shows may have struggled to talk about stuff other than sports.
You guys went into movies and TV shows,
talk about everything,
streaming.
and the ratings took off.
Beer.
The ratings took off to the point we were having, we had basically had conversations. This is ESPN now. We basically had conversations that they were going to move us to drive time. 3 to 7, which is what? That's where you're trying to be.
That's the
market.
Yeah,
that's the money spot.
Either morning drive or afternoon drive. That's where the money's at.
So we had talked to them, and that was one of those. Well, we can't promise this to you, but
this is where we're headed.
Yeah, this is where we're going.
Yeah,
right.
Well, then the pandemic hit.
Yeah,
and initially I asked the pandemic was whatever, a moment in time.
Right.
But then, as I was explaining this to my kids at SMU a few weeks ago, it became like, okay, check this out. It's the pandemic. They're not playing no sports. If they're not playing no sports, what are they not doing? They're not selling no tickets to no sports.
Right.
If they're not playing sports and they're not selling no tickets, they ain't doing no advertising.
Right.
If they ain't doing no advertising, radio built on advertising. That's why we care about these ratings.
Right.
They only gonna go so long with no advertising before they start coming for folks.
Yes,
sir.
Either pay reductions or furloughs or whatever.
Right.
And so as it started going on and on and on, I was like, dude, I got to come up with a plan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just in case.
Yeah, because you still got to keep the bills on.
Right.
And so I was working out with my boy Zeus, and we were working. He used to live at the Katy building downtown.
Okay. Yeah.
And we were working because all the gyms were closed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we were working at his apartment gym.
Okay.
Or condo gym, whatever. And I was jumping rope one day in July, and I was like, dog, I think I can write love stories and sell them to people. And he said, you think? I said, you know what? I'm going to a wedding tonight.
Yeah.
So I called my wife. I said, hey, don't get these people no wedding gift. She's like, why not? I was like, I'm finna write.
We don't really like them like that.
Right. I said, I'm finna write their wedding gift.
Right.
So I explained it to her. She said, oh, okay. So really, I got him a card and said, when you get back from your honeymoon, call you. I'm gonna write a I'm gonna write your love story.
Yeah.
Came back, called him, went over, interviewed him, did it, and then I knew what I wanted to do with it, but I couldn't figure out how to get it done, how to display it.
Yeah.
So I did what any enterprising young journalist would do. I called my high school journalism teacher. I said, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Is there some program I can do that'll do it?
Yeah.
And she said, I think I know what you're talking about. I said, I'll send you pictures. I sent her a picture of what I was talking about. I gave it to her. She said, oh, I can do this in about 30 minutes. I said, okay, you hired. And so
wow,
I sent it to her. She did it. I went over there. I bought a frame for it. I presented it to them. And they went crazy. And the good thing was I taped it. And so I put it on Facebook the next day. I had like 8 or 9 orders within a couple of days. I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And so that became one aspect of my business, and that sustained me for a minute.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the problem, and again, I point out to y'all, when you starting a business is what's your worth? How much can I charge somebody?
Right. How do you know?
100%.
Right. Because you never think people will pay as much as you think like they should pay.
Right.
So you always undersell yourself initially.
Right.
And so I did that for a long time.
Right. I think we all did.
Yep. But then I got more clients, and then I started getting, you know, clients who had nonprofits.
Yeah.
Okay, you actually have some money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you got a budget.
right.
Yeah.
Basically, you got a budget.
That's right.
Yeah. What can I get off that budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Did I hear a yeah and a sure?
And so it became nonprofits, and then
Yeah.
it became some companies. And so I don't do as many personal ones, although I still do some.
Yeah.
Juan has a couple.
Say.
I have 2.
Hey.
Brent, I ain't saying nothing about your brother, cheap ass.
No, let's go. It's a true story.
It's like he knows it. It's like he knows you.
I'm sorry,
I mean,
frugal, not cheap. But anyway.
I ain't scared of cheap.
But you know, so now I've bumped up, and now I got some companies that I'm working with.
Right.
But that's just one element of the things I do. Pretty much, I tell people, if you need it written, I can basically do it. It's just
absolutely
how you want it done, and you know what you want done, and I can pretty much tailor it and do it for you.
So when you're making this plan, okay, the planner, JJT the planner,
right,
who planned on being a columnist from a child, who works his way up to the biggest sports media broadcasting organization in the world, leaves that, comes back with this program.
Right.
Were you thinking, I'm also going to someday still be on Sports Illustrated? Was that always a thing for you?
No, man.
Right.
You know what, man? This is what my dad told me.
Yeah.
My mom gave great advice, too. Mm-hmm. My mom is really how I got jumped into the business, so to speak. Meaning, that didn't come out right. That's
okay. I mean, hey, Oakcliff, baby.
But I go back to the roots. Like, I had an interview set up to do an internship.
Okay.
And I was doing really good at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. I was like, and I say that meaning I had become known around campus. And in my mind, I was like, if I showed up here from Texas at this school of 50,000, and now I'm known around campus, I'm good.
Absolutely.
So I was so good, I was like, I don't need this interview. I'm finna just graduate, go start my deal. And my mother was like, take the interview. You've never been on a real job interview, so take the interview with the paper. And it was Cincinnati Enquirer. She said, just understand, because she worked in HR. She said, understand how the interview process works, blah, 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 blah. I said, all right. What I tell you I do when my parents suggest
Just
something.
do what they say.
Yeah.
So, but I showed up, not caring about whether I got a job or not.
Right.
So I acted a fool.
Right.
I was relaxed because I didn't care.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm this, I'm that.
Right.
Yeah, y'all would be lucky to have somebody like me. I'm not really even all that interested. And when I was done, the guy was like,
It's like, sorry to bother you, Mr. Taylor.
no, he was like, this is one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
We'd love for you to come.
Wow.
And so at that point, I was like, oh, all right, I'll come. And so
you took the job?
Yeah, it's a summer internship.
Yeah.
So I took it. I blew it up.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, now I'm really straight.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And then I came back, and hey, I'm graduating. I'm finna go. And I'll never forget it. I was standing in the newsroom, and this guy named Fred waved me up. He said, hey, come here.
Yeah.
So I got New York Times on the phone, dog. I can't do the internship because I just got a job. I told him about you. Do you want it? I said, New York Times? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I got on the phone with them. I was like, oh, love to. I was completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Love to, blah, blah, blah. Went there. So I spent the summer in New York. Blew that one up.
I don't think I knew that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that.
And then
breaking news right here on the Pretty Funny Podcast.
I was really ready to graduate then.
Yeah.
And this is all leading back to the point.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had I went on a convention in the Dallas Morning News. I went to interview with them. And I wanted a job. I didn't want an internship.
Right.
And so they said, hey, we got a summer internship for you. And I was like, I'm not interested. And the guy looked at me like, what do you mean you're not interested?
I'm the Dallas Morning News.
That's exactly what he said.
Right.
I said, well, I've done the whole summer internship thing. Golf, tennis. I'm not interested in that.
Right.
So I appreciate it very
Right.
much so, but I'm not interested. I said, if you had a fall internship, I would love that.
Yeah.
That's football. That's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But summer, I'm going to school, man.
Yeah.
He said, thank you. Okay. I appreciate it, blah, blah. That man called me back a week later and said, so if we had a fall internship, you would come. I said, oh, yeah, I'd come for that.
Right.
He said, okay, we're going to create a fall internship for you.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, check this out. What has the Dallas Morning News had ever since then?
Apparently a fall internship.
Fall internship ever since then.
So you started the fall internship program.
He was the fall internship program.
Yeah. And
Do you
then,
ever go by? Have you? So let me. Any other? The crowd is loving this.
They love it.
So have there been other interns that have made it?
Yeah.
That through that fall program?
Yeah.
Oh, did they thank you? Did they give you a little piece of their check?
No.
They should have.
And don't need to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But the other thing I did was toward the end of that internship, I started killing it. I mean, I was okay before then, but at the end, I found a rhythm, got good.
Oh, yeah.
And I started killing it. So I went and said, hey, why don't y'all let me stay another 3 months? And Dave Smith, the editor at the time, he's one of the giants in the business. He was like, now you understand we've never had a fall intern. And here you are in my office asking me if you can stay for another 3 months.
Right.
We've never had a 6-month intern. So I said, I'm just asking.
Right.
He said, I don't know. Let me think about it. This was on a Friday. So I came back in Monday, he called me in. He said, okay, you can stay another 3 months.
Wow.
And so I stayed until March. And it just so happened, right when I was leaving, I'll never forget it, I hit a string of stories that was just bam, 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 bam. One of them was Kerry Wood, who played for the Cubs all those years, threw some kind of no-hitter for Grand Prairie where he threw like 190,000 pitches.
Yep.
And so I wrote a story about that. And I got a bunch of, we used to get memos all the time if you did something they liked or if you did something they didn't like.
Right.
Well, I remember it because no cap, as the young folks say.
Right.
I probably wrote like 6 stories in a 2-week period that got a memo about this is fantastic work, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, wow.
Man.
And so when my internship was over, they were like, if this is March, it's like, you graduate by the end of the year, we'll hire you in January. And so I was like, cool. Which leads me back to the original thing, like, I always know it'll work. What I'm saying is my dad used to always tell me, if you do good work, everything else follows.
Right.
But your work got to be at a premium. If it is, everything will work. You'll get money, you'll get women, you'll have whatever.
Whatever you're looking for.
Right. If your work is good,
you'll have
everything
access.
else will fall in line. So I know I can write. And so it's just a matter of, can you get your work to enough people where they can see it and be like, oh, yeah, we got some value for this or we got a need for this when you talk about the JJT Media Group.
Wow.
Jacques, Sports Illustrated, front cover.
Yeah, dog, it's a blessing. So,
you're
but check this out.
I was the guy that used to collect, like I had Sports Illustrated. I probably started getting
bundles.
Yeah, I would do it. Like I started it as a junior in high school. through college. I was getting them when I lived in Europe. I was still getting Sports Illustrated. Wow. I don't remember exactly when I stopped, but it was a big deal. And I saved certain covers, and I don't have them on the wall or anything like that because I've moved around. But for a while, that was it. And you know,
Matt does that.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard y'all talk about that. Matt has he has them framed and stuff.
Oh, he's serious.
He's got I want to say the number is 16.
Oh yeah.
Oh dang.
Framed on the wall.
Dang.
Yeah, I used to save some of the Jordan ones. There's a Muhammad Ali that I had. Yeah. So Michael Johnson was on the cover. Yeah. Dallas guy, your buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was certain ones. Yeah, but I was really bummed that I didn't have a subscription when yours came out because I was like, I would have saved that one.
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah. And that's just a blessing. It was. I just got a phone call one day that said, "Hey, we've been trying to do a piece on Deion Sanders. And we heard you were the Deion Whisperer." And I said, "I don't know if I'm the Deion Whisperer, but he will return my phone call if I call him."
Right.
And so I told him, hey, I just got a call from SI. What you think? He's like, hey, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So we set up a time. I was going to come down and talk to him. Or actually, he was up here, whatever. We talked at the photo shoot. It turned out to be a great piece. You know, I'm saying this like this because I'm thinking about it.
Right.
When I know when I write something that's really good, that's average, that's solid, whatever. But I knew when that one was done that was good.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, I got a phone call. It said, "I've been looking for somebody to write a book on Deion Sanders for 2 years. I just read your Sports Illustrated story. Will you do the book?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." So the Sports Illustrated,
JJT Media Group.
Yeah. So the Sports Illustrated story literally spawned the book. Like most
wow.
I had thought about writing a book before.
But you wrote one book.
Well, let me class. Like I've written 2 books before, but I don't count those as books. And here's why. Those are like a series of stories put together.
Okay.
A book is like a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's got an arc to it and all of that. And so normally when you do that, man, you got to send in a sample chapter and all this other stuff and hope somebody buys it. And here's some people from HarperCollins, #2 publishing house in America, talking about, hey, we want you to do this.
Man.
Here's the money we think, we'd like to talk to you. Start here, can you do it?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, let's go.
Wow.
And so it's been a blessing. It's been a great opportunity. It's been a great experience.
Yeah.
And, hopefully this will, jumpstart some other stuff.
Do you want to write more books?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, see, I say it like that because originally I didn't think I wanted to write books because I used to describe myself when I was having this conversation with other reporters, like I'm like a baseball player. I like to show up and write every day. I like if I go 0 for 4 today, I know that tomorrow, okay, I can go 4 for 4.
Right.
But I like every day putting something out. I like the daily thing. I don't like to have to wait to see my finished product because I get off on seeing, okay, I did that. I can make that better. Let me do that. Take that to the next one. But this book writing process has been is a little different than I anticipated. So it's given me, because it was covering a season, it kind of gave me some of the day-by-day stuff that I like. But also I'll go deeper with y'all. But I like over the last couple of years, I've become kind of, now this is some nerdy journalism stuff.
Yeah, that's all right.
I've become obsessed with interviewing.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Like the art of interviewing.
Sure.
And how you interview and how you get people to tell you stuff and how you probe people and how you dig deep on people. So the book afforded me the opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. And so now that I've done it, like I just told Brent that I turned it in, I was like, I could be so much better.
Right.
Now that I turned it in, because I see how to do it or what I should have done.
Right.
So yeah, if you can, if I can find another project, yeah. I mean, I've got a couple in mind. Yeah. And one of them they seem to be pretty excited about.
Yeah.
But I got to get one done.
Get one all the way through.
So this one with Deion. I mean, first of all, amazing article, Sports Illustrated. A lot of folks loved it, of course. You get the book deal right afterwards. But I'm sure you had to go to him, say, hey, you cool, you want to do this? Was he all in?
Here's the thing about Deion, man. Me and Deion been cool for years.
Yeah.
And so we had, let me see how to say it. Yeah. So I get the call I go, okay, I'll check with him.
Right.
So I sent him a text. I say, hey, I got something to run past you, man. Holler at me when you get a chance. Mm-hmm. And he hollered at me like 5 minutes later. He's like, are you sounding all cryptic? What's up?
Because I wanted you to call me back.
Right. And I said, hey, dog, here's what I got. And I laid it all out for him. I said, here's how much they paying me. Here's the deal, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What you think? He's like, have you signed a contract yet? And I was like, dog, I can't sign a contract before I call you and talk to you and run it past you.
Right.
I said, I got respect for you like that, man.
Right.
And he's like, oh, no, dog, I got you. Whatever you need, I got you.
Yeah.
So called back, told them I'm good. And then, of course, he is a business. So then, of course, his business people are like, hey, now, wait a minute now. We got some other things cooking, popping, running.
Right.
That, of course, he ain't thought about it.
Right.
So we had some conversations with the business people, but they were like, fine.
Right.
Had to work through a little, what do you call it? Fine. Red tape.
Yep.
Just a little bit. Not very much. Yeah. Not very much at all. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was cool. And then he took care of me. And the funny thing about doing the book is, he's at work. Yeah. So Dion, when he's not at work, is different than Dion when he is at work, which took me a minute to figure out.
Yeah. Okay.
Because why? I've seen him as a player, but I ain't seen him as a coach at work.
Right.
And so
that's different.
No, it is different.
Yeah, the leadership changes, I think, and the mentality changes.
Because I walked to him up on a Friday, right before a team meeting, and said, "Hey, I got a question for dog. I ain't answering no question today." I was like, "Oh." Then he said,
"My fault."
He said, he said something like, "I ain't asking no question today," and I think he thought he sounded a little harsh. He said, "Unless it's like you just curious about something."
Right.
I said, "Oh yeah, I'm just curious about something."
Right.
And so I came up with a fake question right quick. No, real talk. I came up with a fake question right quick.
Right.
And he answered it.
Right.
And I was like, "Okay, good. I appreciate you. I'm done."
Right.
Yeah.
And then I went on about my business. And then what I figured out was I found out a time I could talk to him because I really didn't bother him that much.
Yeah.
Because he gave me such access, like I could go to any meeting I wanted to go to. I could go sit. I just do whatever I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really need him all that much. And then 2 or 3 times during the season, he'd be like, "Yo, Jacques Cousteau, let's go talk."
Right. There it is. Jacques Cousteau, though, dog.
Hey, and so we go
that's
catch
what most
up.
people think.
That's right.
We chit chat, and so it was fantastic, man. It's only 2 things he didn't allow me to do, and one of them I couldn't really figure out. I need to ask him why. Mm-hmm. I understood the first one, and the second one, I kind of blame it on me because I didn't. The problem is not the problem. The issue I had all year was I was still doing some work for ESPN.
Okay.
And it was, what can I, I don't want to reveal. I got a bunch of great stories.
Right.
But I'm saving them for the book.
Right. Oh, 100%.
So what can I write for ESPN that's good and quality without revealing too much? Save for the book. And so this last thing he didn't let me do, I blame myself because I don't think I conveyed, like, if you let me do this for the book, not for something that'll be on ESPN
right.
in 20 minutes.
Right.
And that was his last talk with his team.
Oh, okay.
Now, I still got enough to do what I need to do for the next day, but I don't think I made it clear that, hey, if we do this, and I say that because the meeting was literally over, and I was walking to one of the assistant coaches' truck with him because he was leaving. Mm-hmm. And Bruce Feldman already had a tweet out about Deion Sanders just told his team he was leaving.
Oh, wow.
That was within, I'm not capping, that was within 2 minutes of the meeting being over.
Oh, wow.
So what happened is somebody in there, as soon as it was over, like,
set that out.
He's gone.
Right. So I couldn't have done no worse than that.
No, I mean, shoot, 2 minutes.
But he was fantastic to me. He's great to me.
Yeah.
And he's my boy.
So when you're doing a story like that, and you're obviously the hired gun to go tell his story, does he get a cut in the book or anything like that?
No. And he didn't ask for one.
Really?
No.
He's just agreed to be the subject matter, and that was it.
It's Jackson State's 2022 season, and so it's not just Deion. It's about the cats on the team. Now he's the central player,
of course, yeah.
But the interesting thing of it is that dude, man. don't really talk to people about it because you're not going to convince them. Whatever their perception is of Deion is what it is. Whatever I say is not going to convince them otherwise. So I don't try to convince people otherwise. And I told him, because I walked up to him one day, man, and I said, dog, I forget, what kind of podcast is this? Anyway, I said, dog.
You good.
You're safe.
I said, dog, because, he doesn't curse.
Right.
Yeah.
I said, dog, you doing some good shit out here, man.
Right.
And I gave him the bro man hug. He looked at me like, what are you talking about? And so I told him a couple stories that kids had told me. He said, oh, yeah. Oh, you talking about that? That's just kind of what we do, man.
Right.
Oh, he said, but if you think that was big, you should come later on today and see what we got scheduled for today. And so I went to it and I was like, wow. And so, man, so what I'm getting at is, you can, now, he's like everybody. And every decision he makes is not a good decision.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, that dude's heart is in the right spot.
Right.
It's not always executed properly.
Sure.
But his heart is always in the right spot. And like I don't think this made the book, but stuff like this. Mm-hmm. So when I go talking to interviewing players for the book, my first question is always, how you get to Jackson State? Because that is not most people's first destination point for this particular team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like before he showed up, this might have been your first destination.
That was what they were
point.
thinking. Right. The caliber of kid that was there at that time.
But when you show up now that he's there, normally this is not your first spot.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So ask him. Ask this guy, white quarterback, Grayson, from Denton. How you get here? He goes, oh, me and Shadura played on the same 7-on-7 team. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So we asked him I said, okay, but how you get here? He said, well, me and Shadura got to be tight because we spent a lot of time on the same team.
But they were both quarterbacks?
Yeah, so here's how it happened. So Deion had 2 or 3 7-on-7 teams. Each one of them had 2 quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks are supposed to play a half, first and third, second and fourth. Mm-hmm. Grayson, I told you, he's a white guy. Mm-hmm. Deion peeps it. The coach who's coaching that particular 7-on-7 team is not rotating Grayson in the way he's supposed to be rotated in for whatever reason. So Prime goes find the dude's daddy and says, hey, I saw what was going on. I'm sorry. It was not supposed to be like that. I'm going to put Grayson on my team with Shador. That way you don't have to worry about whether your son going to get his reps every weekend.
Wow. And
that's how they got to be friends. So I'm talking to Grayson. I'm like, so did he really know you? He said, not at that time. He just went, he didn't think it was fair, so he just went and told my daddy that.
Dang.
And he said, and so Grayson's like, I didn't even know he told my dad until my dad got home and said, I talked to Coach Prime. I said, you thought you was in trouble, didn't you? He said, yeah.
Straight up.
And then he told the story. But that's what I'm talking about when I say, like, his heart's always in the right spot.
Right.
But like everybody, everything's not always executed properly. But what he does for kids and how he tries to teach them about being men, man, that's real and that's helpful, and that will change lives. And but again, I ain't trying to convince nobody, because whatever you think about him
what you think,
is what you think about him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna change a little bit because there's a couple of things. You see, you've crossed paths with some very amazing people and some cold cats in Dallas. I mean, straight up in Dallas.
Seriously.
Yeah,
I'm talking about. So I know you and Deion probably been tight for years, right?
Covering the
Cowboys, right?
Right.
And then, so Larry Johnson, Michael Johnson. So Michael Johnson got how many? I mean, he was like,
he's my favorite Olympian of all time.
I mean, Michael Johnson.
Not just because his parents lived across the street.
Michael lived right across the street. I mean,
that's my dog.
Yeah, I mean, great dude. I mean, always been the same since the beginning. Like I haven't seen him in years, but cool cat.
Yep.
Larry Johnson.
That's to whip his ass on basketball, though.
What?
Come on.
Mike can run. He couldn't shoot.
Oh, sorry, Mike.
He's got to set us up. We can get this real Mike's version.
We need to hear Mike's version.
Now, he's a better athlete, obviously.
100%.
But Just playing basketball.
Basketball game.
In my backyard.
You had him.
Can't mess with Jacques.
Couldn't mess with you.
No.
You knew where the backboard was going to lean and how it was going to.
There you go.
I got you.
Where the sun hit that joker.
That home court situation.
Exactly.
So how was that? I mean,
Like, did you know y'all were all going to be so successful?
I mean, for real, like.
Now me and Mike was cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we're in the same neighborhood roads. Because what happened was we just used to ride the same bus.
Okay.
And because the bus let us off at Rugged and Ledbetter, we would walk home together, talking every day.
Yeah.
And then I would stop it. I would go into my house, and he'd walk another half a block
To his house.
to his house. And so we just got to be friends over those conversations, walking home, telling lies about what goes on in school. And then he was a year behind me, so when I got a car, I think I got a car my junior year, whatever it was. Whenever I got one, we caught the bus at Kimball. So me and my 71 Volkswagen, I'd roll up there, pick him up, and then we ride to school. And those are where the adventures took place.
Oh, boy. Oh, I'm so sure.
One day it was raining.
Yeah.
And the windshield wipers went out.
Ooh, been there.
Been there, brother.
Now, you got to understand, I got a young car. I got an old car, but it's my car.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey.
And so what do? I got to act the fool some days. I screech out the parking lot in my 71 Volkswagen like I'm really doing something.
Yeah.
And so I did that one day, and that joker stopped. I can't tell you where it stopped, but it stopped on the route to school. And we were like, dog, the bus is going to pass us. We can't be seen out here up under the hood trying to figure out what's wrong with the car. So, dog, no cap. We saw the bus coming. We started running, making a beeline, trying to hide so that we would not be ridiculed by the folks on the bus, especially since I done peeled out in my 71 Volkswagen.
You had all eyes on me.
Dog.
But not when I'm on the side.
Car stopped one time because I didn't know you were supposed to put oil in it.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Dang. Yeah, that's
a bad one.
Yeah.
So we had many adventures
right
in the yellow Volkswagen. Man.
Wow.
Man, that is good.
Many adventures.
I mean, it's amazing to see, like you said, that both of them become like so successful.
So successful in their fields. I mean, and then was LJ friends with you guys at all? Or he was just because everybody knew when he was in high school he was the man.
Yeah, but he was.
He's younger than. Was he like a year younger?
No, he was.
He was a year older.
No, he was much younger than me.
Was he?
Like he was a freshman my senior year.
Okay.
Okay.
So
that makes because Michael was a year younger than you. Gotcha.
But check this out. So, the thing Larry Johnson did was he might have been
I think he was a sophomore.
No, he might have been a sophomore my senior year.
Yeah, I think
I was going to say because he took him to the playoffs, and the way it happened is I remember I found a notebook. Knowing me, if you bet me some money, I could probably put my hands on this notebook.
Yeah, I believe you. I ain't gonna bet.
And that's because I
might bet you because somebody want to know what's in the notebook.
You ain't lying.
No, it's a notebook where I had written out the questions for this interview I had with Larry.
Oh, okay.
That's why I kept the notebook.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And so he answered whatever questions I had. But what happened was my senior year, so yeah, he was a sophomore, I believe, is we were playing Samuel in the playoffs. They had a big dude named Steve Miles, who I think played at Texas Tech. And going into the playoffs, I had the first, I'm all about them first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, this is high school, though.
Okay.
First front page story on the basketball, first sports story on the front page of the school paper. And what happened is, this is how I look back and go, okay, this is probably what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Because I went to Coach Mayo's office, and I had him diagram some stuff for me, put the diagrams on the page. And so we had this big story about Larry and what we're going to do in the playoffs. Then we had another story down the front. Nice. And it was, dog.
Oh, that's pretty tight.
Money.
Yeah.
Larry Carr, the wrestling coach, mad. We never had wrestling. We've had championships in wrestling. We've never been on the front page.
Yeah.
That's definition of a hitter.
Oh, man.
Definition of a hater.
Well, I tell you what, that joker, I mean, he definitely has some moments where, this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes. I don't.
It's exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Some people say that they get like an inkling from God.
Right.
Some people get hit with a 2x4.
Man.
I think you had multiple 2x4 moments in your life.
Well, man, I'm real about it. I say when it's when God has ordained it, it just kind of opens up and you just kind of flow through it.
Yeah.
But you got to keep working.
Got to.
Oh, well, yeah, that's all part of the process.
It's a collaboration.
Ain't no handouts.
Yeah.
Look here, we got a couple more questions. We got one one little question, then we're gonna go to the
smoke shots.
Gonna go to the smoke shots.
All right.
Newspapers. Are they gonna be here in 20 years?
Are they here now? I gave up on newspapers a long time ago. But what happens is content is always here. So it doesn't really matter how you produce it.
Right.
Whether it's on TV, whether it's on podcast, whether it's on radio, whether you're writing for a website, whether it's your own website.
Right.
Content is king. So if you can produce content, it doesn't matter how you package it.
Right.
It remains content.
That makes sense.
So the Dallas Morning News will at least be alive digitally.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a relief.
Yeah, I know, right? I still, man, but it's still nothing like the newspaper.
No, I love holding newspapers, but what I've learned and I didn't know before is I've got the app for Dallas Morning News, so you can actually
this one.
Yes. So you can actually get the news.
I like that.
Instead of just reading articles, you get the printout of the paper, what it looks like, and then you can pick the article and it'll highlight it for you. So then you can go in and read it. But at least, and you can turn the pages.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, it'll turn the pages.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
So that's a whole new experience for me. I've been doing that the last probably about a month or so.
Well, then they didn't do a good job of
They haven't promoted that well.
Promoting it.
No, because it hadn't been like that forever.
Yeah.
But
it's been like that for probably 3, 4, 5 years.
See? That's a long time. So
and I've had the app for a while because I try to support the local media.
Absolutely.
Because there are people. Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like it's digital, but it looks like the paper.
Okay.
It looks just like it would. Yeah, I'm sure they can see that.
They can't see it. That's all right. Don't worry about it.
You did I mean,
I tried to show him.
Yeah.
Sexy Ramon might be able to make him see it. I don't know. He's talented and gifted.
Sexy
like
Ramon is cold. It's a cold man.
All right, so we do this thing with our guests where we do what we call 7 smoke shots.
Yes.
So these are quick answers.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, I've guessed what I think your answers are going to be.
All right.
So we'll see. We'll see if how
Number 1 is missionary.
Whole lot of
Right.
All right.
What would you do if you were in ministry?
There you go. Way to save it.
Oh,
Bishop Brent.
Hallelujah. Take it, Jesus.
Well done. All right. I know you like to drink sparkling water. You ready?
Yes.
Waterloo watermelon or Topo Chico lime?
Waterloo watermelon. Goes great with watermelon Ciroc. No, like it's a different world.
Oh.
Now, see, that's what I want you to understand is you can put pineapple Waterloo with pineapple Ciroc, and that's cool.
Right.
And you can mix them like watermelon Ciroc with watermelon Waterloo.
That's a win.
That's a different. That's all I drink.
There it is. Hey,
y'all
heard it. Yeah.
It's also got no calories and no carbs for us people who trying to be sexy.
Sexy.
You hear that, Ramon?
Sexy Ramon.
Little tip. All right. Back in the day, Six Flags or Wet n Wild?
Definitely Six Flags.
Got it.
Greater duo from the same high school.
To be taking my shirt off at Wet n Wild.
Oh. I hear you. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I wore glasses, so Wet n Wild was not that much fun. You can't see nothing.
I wore a T-shirt because I was only 37 pounds as a freshman in high school.
When you got wet, you're like 38.
I was straight up.
Greater duo from the same high school: Clayton Kershaw and Matthew Stafford, or Larry Johnson and Michael Johnson?
I was definitely Larry and Michael. Highland Park got enough privilege. I'd never vote for them for nothing. I'm just gonna keep it real with you, dog. They ain't never get my vote.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh, God.
Oh, my. All right. Better interview. Bill Parcells or Ron Washington?
Oh.
Now that's a great question.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know, that's my goal in life.
For me personally,
you did a good.
For me personally, it'd be Wash.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Benz or Jag?
I've had both.
Oh.
I prefer the Benzo.
Oh, okay.
Benzo by a nose.
By a nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better Bulls team, first three-peat, second three-peat.
Yeah. Which was Robin with?
Second.
Then it was the second.
That's what I thought.
Because they had the defender and the rebounder.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Last question. More likely to win it all sooner, Longhorns or Cowboys?
That's a good question too, bro.
Man.
Oh,
I'm gonna say Longhorns.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay.
All right.
Man, explain that one. Usually we don't have to have explain that one.
You believe in Sarkisian?
No.
They're going to the SEC.
Not per se, but the game is. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. The game is about the quarterback.
Yeah.
And if you can recruit elite quarterbacks, now here's the key word.
Right.
And develop
them.
Which, in general, UT has not done.
Right.
If you can develop Arch Manning or Quinn Ewers into that guy, then the players will come. And once you got the players, you're in a conversation.
Right.
I mean, it's like the Buckeyes.
Right.
It's always about the Buckeyes.
That's true. Hey,
but what have we done with Ryan Day that we didn't do with Urban Meyer? Urban Meyer went a different way, and that's cool. He ran with dual threat quarterbacks who could throw for college but not in the NFL.
Right.
Ryan Day went in with NFL passes with first round picks.
Right.
And that's why we in the conversation every year.
Yep.
We don't win it every year, obviously, but we in the conversation.
In the mix. Yeah,
and you got to deal with us to get where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's because of the quarterback play. So
yep.
If they can develop them cats, they'll be in the conversation. And then if they can develop them, then what else will happen?
Yeah.
You'll have that guy every year because you can develop
the
him.
next guy knows.
But he just said some stupid shit that just had me shaking my head.
Yeah.
Did y'all see what he said?
No, that's it.
Let me go to a videotape.
Uh-oh.
Because it's just dumb, man. It's you know what it is, man?
I saw it looping on ESPN, but I didn't hear it.
Old man thinking.
Yeah.
And old man thinking in young man college football, get your butt kicked.
Yep.
Yeah.
On a regular basis. And he's talking about Quinn Ewers. And he's talking, see, I have it circled.
Wow. Yeah, that meant something.
Receipts.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's talking about Quinn Ewers. And he says, Quinn's a great kid. He's a great teammate. He's really really coachable. But the one thing we had talked about is sometimes your appearance and perception precedes you. And he's talking about because he had that mullet and stuff.
Yeah.
No, stop with that.
Yeah.
That's that whole, you got tats, you got dreads.
Say that behind the scenes
You're
if
a
you think
thug.
that.
Yeah. No, man.
Yeah.
Just let it be
man.
him.
So we really, in 2023, we still want to judge people on whether you got this, quote, white folk defined, clean cut look.
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all going to make me cuss, man.
Uh-oh. Hey.
I'm going to save it.
Hey. It's going to be in the book. It's going to be in the next book.
You know, that's a 8-letter cuss word, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
that
sir.
really is.
Man, look here, y'all. This has been absolutely amazing. Jock, man, thank you so much for taking the time. I know as busy as you
Y'all
are.
the fellas, man.
Hey, man, we
You
do
know what I'm
appreciate. I mean, no, you've been in Jackson and Colorado and trying to
everywhere,
just getting your book done.
Yes, but I mean, y'all family, man.
Hey,
Oh,
and we appreciate that.
Much,
hey,
much respect, man. We sure appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us
the Rugged and Ledbetter crew.
on the Pretty Funny. Listen, y'all tune in with us next time. Thank you for hanging out with us and the great Jean Jacques Taylor.
One more time.
Yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. But as Juan always says,
Don't stop till you get enough.
however,
Should you find that you've had your fill, we highly recommend that you shut it down.
back up off of it.
Cut it out.
Let it breathe.
Stop doing it.
All right, y'all. Peace out. We'll holler at you next time.
Say goodnight to mama.
Good night, mama.
This program was brought to you by Smokey John's Barbecue Sauce and Barbecue Rub.
It's for your meat.